So this was like an hour-long show, right? The
Yes,
decision.
so they did. I think it was a 1 hour special with all the money going to the Boys and Girls Club.
Mhm.
So let's set the stage for a second. LeBron is not the only free agent, right?
Yeah.
He's not the only free agent this year. There are several guys who are certified studs in this free agent pool as we go to our stats from the year before. LeBron is a free agent, right?
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade is a free agent. LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Amari Stoudemire, Joe
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah, there were a lot of free agents, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Danny Granger was one too, but I'm not positive, so I'm not going to click on his name. These are the ones I'm positive of.
Mm-hmm.
Stop me if you see anybody that comes to mind, but those I think were the main 5 guys.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of speculation as to where all these guys would end up, because a lot of people felt like Bosh was probably leaving and Amari was probably leaving. And I think people felt like Joe Johnson would leave Atlanta too. But
Yeah, I remember Amari and those 3 being really big at that point.
I remember this
How was Melo not a free agent at this point?
I think he had signed an extension.
Oh, okay.
But I know, because remember the next.
Yeah, it was the next year. The Knicks.
Is this when Amari goes to New York and then blows up his legs?
Yeah.
Got it.
This was a great signing by the Knicks.
It's actually this year that happens.
The knee?
Right?
It happens when he's in. No, he doesn't go to New York this year. He goes to New York either next year or 2 years from now. What do you call it? No. This was an amazing signing, because he signs with them and gets better, Amari, right? So a lot of people thought maybe LeBron will go team up with Amari in New York, because he was the first big one to sign.
Yeah.
So a couple of teams made their pitches to LeBron: the Mavericks, the Bulls, the Knicks, Miami, and of course Cleveland. There might have been one other one. They'll all be on your screen right now. Pat Riley sits down with LeBron James and shows him all of the rings that he's won throughout his career on a table. And just says to him, if you want to win, I know how to do that. If this is what you're after, I can help you with that. Right? Now, very important piece of information. About 2 hours before this special presentation, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh are on SportsCenter, and they're talking about, we're ready to play for Miami. Dwayne Wade, have re-signed with Miami, and I was able to get Chris Bosh to come down and play with me. And they were asked, what's going to happen with LeBron? And kind of did one of these. And I really don't think that they knew. And I got footage to prove it. But I don't think, maybe they had an idea. Maybe they had a little idea. But I think there were very few people that knew exactly what he was going to do when he was wearing this checkered shirt on ESPN.
Yeah,
Go for it.
I feel like they planned it, because they planned it. I can't imagine that they
planned it, but I mean, think about it. LeBron leaving Cleveland at the time was unfathomable. Like, no one, if the betting odds were like Cleveland over 50%, you know what I mean? Like they had the highest betting odds, you know? Yeah. And then after that, it was like New York, you know? And then it came out like the night before that, oh, maybe Miami might be involved. And then they got Bosh, and people thought, oh, they probably had a cap space. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to be able to sign all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And so this is Dwayne Wade at a bar in Miami or club, on the day watching LeBron in the checkered shirt with his family. This is all part of the Dwayne Wade documentary.
That's crazy.
Yep. He recorded himself over 10 years of time. Wade did. And they put it on a documentary on ESPN. But this is Dwayne Wade watching the decision.
Mm.
I just think this is so cool. But you could tell, like, even without the audio, you can see he's physically nervous. Like he's drinking a little bit. You could see he was just shaking in his seat. Like, and he's watching like everybody else. Because at the end of the day, until he says the words, I'm taking my talents to South Beach and I'm joining Miami Heat. Like, you don't know. You really don't know. And this changed the entire landscape of the NBA completely. It made it from what we were talking about with the stars and how there was one star to every team and how there was not one team that had that many more stars than the other. You know what I mean? And then Boston did their thing, but it was out of their prime. This was the first time 3 guys right in the meat of their prime said, we are going to team up together. We are not going to let an organization dictate our future. We are going to make it happen. And the first stake in the flag of the player empowerment movement. Jesus Christ. I almost got through the whole thing without fucking up a word.
That's like, I always thought that they knew, like, so that's crazy. That's super crazy. Because I would not imagine that Dwayne Wade didn't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't know anything, but I definitely think
he knew that they had a high chance. Probably, like Brown was probably saying, like, I'm really stuck between y'all two. Like,
I would imagine that. And you can see, like, if you look carefully, like he's swallowing. He looks nervous up there, like biting his lip, like certain physical cues. Like I've watched this video a bunch of times since, and I watched it live when it was happening. And the fact that he would, and this is how it was looked at. This was the narrative. LeBron James has turned his back on Cleveland. He has given up on them. In hindsight, do you think that's too harsh?
That he gave up on them?
That he gave up on them and turned his back on
them? No. I don't, like, because my whole thing is I could see why. You literally just had a teammate that's in that organization right now who just did what he did.
You could check out the last.
Even if he didn't, like it was an issue. Like, obviously, something happened. Yeah. And then the owner wasn't getting him shit. He didn't want to go over the cap. Like.
Yep.
And then, like, I could totally see him. But like, why wouldn't you? You're like, I'm not winning here. There's no way I can, and I'm only gonna be compared to these great players. So I have to be able to win to be named the great.
Yep, he's getting to year 7, year 8, year 9. Like, this is his prime, and he cannot keep carrying this team on his back. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's got to be the way he's looking at it. Little did he know he'd have a few more opportunities to carry Cleveland on his back. Yeah. But
I think that was truly part of his plan too, though. Like, I think he thought it was legacy building to get a championship. Once he got the championship, he was like, "All right, now I got to finish what I started."
Yeah, but I don't think the guy on this night knew he was going back to Cleveland. I don't think.
I don't know. I think that was. I feel like that was like his hopes would probably have been like, "I'll come back and win."
I mean, we're going to get into it as we break down the Heat era. The not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 era. Wade's physical breakdown of his body, I think is the biggest reason. That and the relationship that occurred with Pat Riley. Yeah. That deteriorating. Sure. Those two things. Dwayne Wade's physical health deteriorating, and then the Riley-LeBron relationship deteriorating, forced him to think that. I think I think
But the
his
whole thing is like
point
the,
was
you didn't have to go to Cleveland. Like he like that's my whole thing. That's like it had to be at least in his brain. Like there's no way because why would you go back to Cleveland after like the owner disrespects the shit out of you? Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like it was in his mind. He was like, I wanna be able to win for the city. I just have to learn how first.
Yeah, that's I think that's why. I think he definitely had that thought, but I think it was by like I think after he got his ass kicked by the Spurs, I think he was like, you know what? I know what to do.
Yeah.
Just about calling this guy. Because you gotta remember, the other thing that we did not talk about, and we're gonna show some of the fan reactions here. But Gilbert wrote a scathing article about LeBron James that went in the newspapers. And LeBron held that as a grudge against him for a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he still don't like him.
I mean, I think LeBron would have finished his career as a Cav if that relationship was better.
Yeah.
But
maybe. I don't know.
I think once he got you say once he got the championship, he went back. I really feel like had that relationship been good, I think once he gets that championship in 2016 for Cleveland, why not stay? Like you had like the whole team blew up, and that's why he had to go.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, we're jumping the gun, but
we'll just talk about it more when it happens.
Yeah, but is this the most impactful basketball action? So the last 21 years.
The most impactful action.
I'll give you some candidates. So we have this. We have Shaq being traded to Miami. Right? We have Kevin Durant going to Golden State. We have the Melo thing.
Okay.
Let me think. There's if Kobe had gotten traded, that would have been on the list. But
yeah. I mean, if Chris, what do you mean? Oh, yeah, in 07, yeah.
The Chris Paul Clippers thing. That's another one.
Yeah.
But I think the decision reaches is number one on that list as the most.
We're just talking about like off court, like movement or like.
Yeah.
Like okay.
Nothing on this is strictly the bit because this shifted everything from organizations having more power to the player empowerment era.
Yeah.
That we're still in.
Yeah.
And it's 11 years later.
Yeah, because you can't say KD going to the Warriors because like the reason he went.
He just put ketchup on his jersey.
I'm so happy you and I died laughing at the same moment.
So it's like,
oh
what?
my God.
Ketchup on his jersey like that.
He was wilding.
Let's run it back to that guy real quick.
But I don't think KD going to the Warriors because I think LeBron made him feel okay to do that. Like you know what I mean? Like
100%. And I think that's where because Kevin Durant would do Bill Simmons' podcast a few times after the Warriors thing.
Yeah,
and they compared the LeBron Kevin Durant. They compared the LeBron situation to his situation, and he said, "You cannot be." Kevin Durant said, "You cannot be mad at a guy for wanting to improve his basketball situation."
Yep.
And I think that the sophistication of that doesn't happen without this.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They would go on.
Do you agree with that though? You can't be mad at a guy for trying to improve his basketball situation.
At the time, I was pissed.
Yeah.
Didn't know any better though. Really didn't.
Yeah.
I was still a teenager. Like
because I'm still on the side of I don't think that's and like I think because of like I don't think it's cool because it's just like to me it's just so pussy, man. Like I'm like because you now you're just like, oh, I'm gonna run to the best team to like make it happen, and I don't like that. Like,
But I don't.
but
I
when
also,
you have got a wait, sorry, when you have a guy that pretty much built it to be all right, now you need 3 stars in order to make it happen. Then you're like, okay, but Kevin Durant was like, nah, we're gonna do 4. Like, fuck that.
Yeah,
like,
but
and that was the part that's just like, come on, like you.
but this was the thing, like, and I think the because everything Durant said about what he did in that moment made sense. Like Steve Kerr, better coach.
Mhm.
Warriors, more efficient offensive system by a mile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the same thing could be said here for LeBron, moving from Cleveland, a place with no structure, to Miami, a team that we know has all the structure in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
what are we talking about now with Brooklyn? Like we're talking about what LeBron, what KD learned from Golden State, how he tries to apply it now. Like there's a reason. Like I'm pretty sure he's talking to the next Nets owner and saying like, look, I or whoever the GM or whatever, and telling them like it needs to be movement in the system. Like even like a lot of people would expect, or a lot of people expected Brooklyn to be very like dribble, someone shooting a shot, and it's not like that much. Like there's ball movement in their game.
I will say this to go on what you were saying before about Kevin Durant. We had one full season without that guy because of his torn Achilles, and the league was perfectly balanced. And the moment this fucking guy comes back in the league, he decides, I'm gonna mess that shit up. And we talked about that when we were doing our contender or pretender series. But
yeah,
I just that's the one difference I think between LeBron and Kevin Durant is that he ultimately did not ruin the balance of power because the East was really bad.
Yeah,
and that's organizations like that has a lot to do with where we're at in the league right now.
Yeah.
We just saw less than 20 guys score 20 points per game.
Yeah, that's true. Like you don't have that many stars. Like the stars,
and
it's not as many.
They only walked away with 2 titles.
Yeah.
So, and
I don't know. You can't get you
when we break it down. We get to the end of this.
Yeah.
We'll look into where they end up in the annals of history.
Oh, in terms of teams, like how
and whether it was a success or not.
Isn't it like annals, not anals?
Are you stupid? Yes, of course it's that, but I'm stupid.
So like you're saying what you'd want to talk about is like you compare like era like you do like the 80s Lakers, right? 80s Celtics compared to the 2010 Heat, the 2000 the Lakers. Like that's what you're saying, like how they okay, I can see that.
But I also think that like I don't know. I just in terms of decisions, and not to pun not intended, but in terms of decisions off the court, there was really only one in the century, I think.
Yeah, he shifted everything. He changed the whole shit.
Yeah. Look at that face. They zoomed in hard on his face. All right.
His skincare is on point for this, though. Like, he did not have any like anxiety breakouts.
Hairline is lit.
Yeah, his shape up. He knew he was going to be on camera.
Nah, he had some Beijing on there. There's no way he had that shit extra crispy like that. At this point, people were using Beijing. The real ones know.
You know, comment. If you know about Beijing, like the video right now. Just hit the like button.